श्रीमान वेंकटनाथार्य कवितार्किक केसरी वेदांताचार्य वर्यो में सन्निधत्तां सदा हृदि श्रीवासरंग परकाल मुनित्रयाप्त लक्ष्मात्मरक्षणैतेद्योगागमान्तम् आचार्य भक्ति परिपूतमनर्गशीलं गोपाल देशिकमुनिं गुरुमाश्रयामः। स्वामी देसिकन् शरणागति दीपिका स्तोत्रार्थ अनुसंधानम. In that we are going to enjoy SLOKA 36 and 37 today. After performance of Sharanagati, how one should behave, that we have been enjoying for the past few verses. Swami continues and he says that he talked about Bhagavata Kaikaryam in the last slokam. And in order to have those Bhagavata Kaikaryam to be performed and fulfilled without any hurdle, without any potential challenges, problems, the best is to have good sahavasam. We need to be associated with such devotees, Bhagavatas. Sadbhiswadeka sharanair niyatam sanataha sarpadivattvadaparadishu dhurayataha dhirastrikrita virincha purandaradhyaha kalam kshipanti bhagavan karanairavandyaihi Sadbhiswadeka sharanair niyatam sanataha sarpadivattvadaparadishu dhurayataha dhirastrikrita virincha purandaradhyaha kalam kshipanti bhagavan karanairavandyaihi. The Buddhiman, the courageous one, the Prapannas, they treat the great rishis, great seers, the devotees who have got only one refuge, Sharanagati, the Sriman Narayana, only one hold, that is you, as their only hold, as their only guide and their only master. And such Bhagavatottamas live in such a holy company and associated with sweet Bhagavatas and enjoy the Bhagavata Seshatvam, being eternally subservient to Bhagavatas, devotees. They live far away from those who offend against you. They will disengage themselves from those who offend against you, O Lord. That is, those who have ignored their Jivatma's nature as subservient to Paradavata Sriman Narayana. All Jivatmas, regardless, are subservient to Sriman Narayana by their very nature. However, only few realize it. And those who hate Perumal, those who are atheists, their Jivatma also subservient to Sriman Narayana, but they don't realize it. So they have ignored their Atma's nature. So they will have no connection, interest, dependence. So this is what is beautifully mentioned in this slokam. This sloka tells us how an ideal Prapanna spends his time here, below. That is in this slokam. As long as until the end of his life, till he is being taken to Paramapadam, the four distinctive features of the life the Prapannas lead are enlisted in this slokam. One, they always enjoy the company of devotees, Bhagavatas. And they always surrender themselves to the Bhagavad Vishayam, to the Lord. And they always have a sense of oneness with the Lord. And they behave in as per Lord's Bhagavat Sriman Narayana Sankalpam. So this satsangam is very important in keeping our purity, chastity, untarnished. This is one of the conditions which make the Swargam on the earth itself. In Vadaraja Panchasat, Swami Desikan mentions in 43rd Sloka, Samsrujyate yaticha dasa janastvadiyaha samsarayesha bhagavan apavargayeva. In Trichinnamala, Swami sings, Shemamenni yemmai anbarka adaittar vandar. For my welfare, Perumal has entrusted me to the custody of my devotees, of his devotees. For my welfare, Perumal has entrusted me with the custody of his devotees. In fact, Sita Devi asked Ravana, don't you have any sat people, the Bhagavatas in your place? There are no good people in your kingdom. Are you not following their words? Sita is asking. Iga santo navasanti satova nanuvartase tadahi viparidate buddhir achara varjita. Are there any sat purushas in your kingdom? Or you are not listening to them? How do you get that viparita buddhi like this? Had you been associated with them or had you listened to them, you would not have been in this state. Sita says, can there be no devotees of God at all here? Or is it that you do not care to follow them or listen to them? Why is your intellect so perverted and your conduct so reprehensible? That's the lessons are taught by Sita Devi to us. That we should always seek the company of Santaha. Santa Sriranga Prithvi Charanatrana Shekaraha. The same Vedic term is used in this sloka, Sadbihi Sanataha. This is number one, to be associated with Satsangam. Number two, equally important is the need to avoid the company of wicked people, atheists, agnostics, with sinful and papisters. They have a propensity to commit papams always. Run away from them as if they are deadly cobras. Probably to lay the foundation for such a lesson being imparted to children and women, the Paramapada Sopana Padam. Now Srishti Tales, www.srishtitales.com, they have released a Paramapadam in accordance with the Archiradi Margam as laid down in our Shastras. So there are squares where if the pawn or the dice perchance gets into a square occupied by a serpent, there is a descent, sometimes terrible descent. If the square lands in a ladder, it moves up to the top of the ladder and then finally attains Paramapadam. So that's the illustrative of the effect of association of Satsangam. And that is number two. Stay away from atheists, agnostics, haters. 3. The Prapanna has no illusion about the power and the position of any Devata. Brahma, Indra, Shivan. He doesn't care. Prapanna. Knowing fully well that Shadai Mudiyan Chaturmukan Yendru Ivar Mudalan Taramellam Adaya Vinai Payanagi Alindu Vidum. The Prapanna regards them all with contempt. So the Prapanna will regards them all with contempt, but not hatred. They don't hate these devatas. They do not consider them as Paradevata. A true Vaishnava cannot bring himself to hate anybody or anything, because everybody and everything is Lord's Vibhuti, Lord's property, Lord's Sarinam. It is indifference and not any positive dislike. Unnittu matror deivam tolal. That is number 3. Number 4, the last attribute is unflinching, steadfast, unconditional faith in blemishless conduct, Anushtana. Angi kurvan Anagalalitam Vrittim Adeha Padat in Srimad Ragasayasaram, Swami mentions. Anushthanam, that is essential. So thus they spend their days each faculty of their body, each indriya, the sense organ, getting its full share of enjoyment on proper shastric, dharmic manner. That is வாழ்வு. That is life. That is why Andal says, Vayyattu வாழ்வீர்கள். The people who are devotees of Sriman Narayana, they are the ones who live like what we just indicated. Peyalvar says, Vazhum vagai arindhen. This is the way to live. So, Prapanna, souls of exceptional merit, spend their time in the Lord's Kainkaryam. Eat sattvika food for acquiring vitality. They indulge in flawless, blemishless Kainkaryam by physic, by body, by mind, by tongue. So, that's the way they behave. In fact, Swami Bhagavad Ramanuja, when he was about to lay down his mortal coil, and all Sishyas surrounded him because they could not bear the separation from Bhagavad Ramanuja. So having told the listeners about different types of Kainkaryam that Prapannas should perform, Bhagavad Ramanuja went on to classify 3 categories of people: Anukular, Pratikular, Anubhayar, that a Prapanna encounters in this world. The standard of behavior that a Prapanna should adopt towards each one of these 3 categories. Bhagavad Ramanuja said, Sri Vaishnavas they come under the category of Anukular. At the sight of any such Sri Vaishnava Bhagavatas, a Prapanna should rejoice, should feel happy, as like he touches the sandal paste, sandanam, like he looks at and have the fragrance of the most wonderful fragrant flowers, as if he is looking at the full moon, as if he has been in the sparsham of a balmy breeze. Anukularai kandal chandana kusumadigal polavum, nilavu tendral polavum, abhimata vishayangal polavum, ugandu vartippan. Fortifying, reinforcing on Acharya Bhagavad Ramanuja's words, Swami Desikan points out, quoting the Chandilya Smriti, that the Lord is not pleased with those who do not favor his bhaktas. Anarchita tad bhaktam Bhagavan nabi nandati. So exactly opposite type of behavior is recommended by Yatiraja toward the second category of people, the Pratikular, or enemies of the Lord and his devotees. These should be shunned as if they are venomous snakes or a raging fire. The Mahabharata emphasized this. Ye dvishyanti mahatmanam na smaranti cha keshavam na tesham punya tirteshu gati samsarginamapi. Bathing in the holiest of rivers would not benefit those who hate the Lord in their minds. The bathing in the river will not benefit those who dislike the Lord, who hate the Lord. The same fate awaits people who are partners in crime with those papishta. So never ever stay with those papi. The company of such people destroys what little love, little bhakti that we have for God. Pratikula samsargam bhagavat prematai alikum. The third type of people, the third category, are anubhayar, or those who have neither love nor hate for the Lord. They are just indifferent, they ignore, they are engaged in the pursuit of mundane, worldly, sensual pleasures, material desires, with little time to spare for the Creator. A Prapanna should treat such people as if they are worthless, inanimate object, like a piece of wood or rubbish. Anubhayarai kandal kashta லோஷ்டாதிகளை கண்டால் போலே திருணவத்கரிப்பான். They consider them as blade of grass. If they display a positive attitude, the Prapanna should try to help them to acquire spiritual jnanam. If such indifferent people come and ask you or inquire and have a positive attitude towards Sat Vishayam, then you should impart them spiritual jnanam. And if they don't, pity them for being beyond redemption. This is brought out by a beautiful slokam quoted by Swami Desikan. Adya prabrtihe loka yuyam yuyam vayam vayam artha kama para yuyam narayana para vayam nasti sangati asmakam yushmakam cha parasparam vayam tu kinkara vishnoho yuyam indriya kinkaraha. O residents of this material worldly people, you hanker after the material riches, worldly pleasures, mundane pleasures, while we crave for only Lord's daya. You are running behind worldly pursuits. We want only Lord's daya. You are slaves of your indriyas. We are Lord's slaves. There is absolutely no meeting point between us. So never shall we meet. So having laid down this, Bhagavat Ramanuja then talks very many things, warn the disciplines of the impediments in the way of rightful conduct, indulgence in materialistic pleasure. If a Prapanna were to discard Sri Vaishnavas due to materialistic ground, he would surely incur apacharam. He would surely incur Lord's displeasure, such as indifferent conduct toward the crown prince will anger the king. So, if we should never befriend these pratikulas. If one were to befriend pratikulas for our benefits, it would be like a queen of a Maharaja seeking pichai to a beggar, like a beggar, while her husband is the all-powerful king. A queen should not go and beg when the husband is a king. And if one were to be partner with Anubayar who are indifferent to the Lord would surely disregard such a Prapanna, because he knows not how to discern a precious diamond from a worthless stone. Because the Prapanna does not know the difference between a precious diamond and a worthless stone. So we should be careful of these potential downfall for Prapannas. Then comes the next slokam, sloka 37, which is the most wonderful slokam. Vaghatigam manasi tat pavane sa jive bhuteshvayam punarasau tvaitai sameti sadharanot kramana karma shamasritanam yantra mukunda bhavataiva yata yamadehe vaghadigam manasi tat pavane sa jive bhuteshvayam punarasau tvayitai sameti sadharanot kramana karma samasritanam yantra mukunda bhavataiva yata yamadehe. O Mukunda, here after Bhagavad Aradhanam, Pujai, Bhagavad Katha Shravanam, Bhagavata Kaikaryam, Satsangam, all that post-prapatti period way of conduct, code of conduct. Now the next two slokams, Swami talks about how the Jivatma gets out of the body and travels. In this slokam 37, he mentions how the Jivatma travels and how Perumal facilitates the Jivatma to travel and what happens. This is not the Prapanna Jivatma. This is not the Jivatma which has performed Saranagati. This is for a normal person whose end has come. The end comes in the shape of a soul's departure from the body. The process of jivas passing out of the body has been described in the Upanishads, and the same is expounded in the Brahma Sutras, in the second quarter of the 4th chapter in Brahma Sutra. In Chandogya Upanishad, it is said that when the Purusha, means the Jivatma, dies, his speech unites with mind. The mind, speech means the Indriyas. The mind gets into prana, and the prana into tejas, and the tejas becomes one with the supreme deity. Chandogya Upanishad. The Chandogya Upanishad describes the passage of the released Atman to reach Paramatman. It is pointed out that this particular travel, the process of Utkranti, is described here. And if the person is a Prapanna, it's altogether different. That is Sloka 38, next Sloka. So, Mukunda, in this Slokam 37, he says, Mukunda, you alone bring about the end to Devas like Yama, the god of death, who ends the life of ordinary beings and who have not performed any upayam, any means to attain you. In this case, the vak and the other senses are first gathered into the mind. The mind joins with the pranavayu, and that is joined into the soul, Atma. This soul comes to you along with the elements, the Panchabhutams. So beautifully he describes, as mentioned in the Upanishad. Srimad Rahasya Trayasaram also in Niryanadhikaram, it is talked about. Brahmanam intram rudram yamam varunam evacha prasahya harate yasmat tasmat hariri tiryate. Matsya Puranam. And that is why, based on this particular Matsya Puranam, Swami mentions here, Yantra Mukunda Bhavataiva Yata Yamadehe. Exactly based on that. Mukunda, the end comes in the shape of the soul's departure from the body. That process is mentioned here. Incidentally, it is stated that in the case of everyone, including Yama, the god of death, it is Lord Sriman Narayana and the Lord alone that brings about that Utkramana, which means upraising of the Jivatma from the body. The 10 Indriyas are gathered into the mind. That mind in the Pranavayu, which in turn seeks refuge, unison with the soul. That soul mingles with the elements in their subtle state, the Panchabhutams, and joins the Lord. This is the process applicable to the common run of mankind. And that's what is described in this Slokam. Sloka 37. Swami Desikan begins the description of the exit of the Sadharana Jivan from its body during the last moments of life. O Vilakkoli Perimale, when the Jivan is ready to leave the body, the 10 Indriyams, beginning with Vak, the speech, join the Manas. The Manas, the mind, with the assembly of 10 Indriyams, joins next the Pranavayu. And we know what are the 10 Indriyam. The 5 Jnana Indriyam and 5 Karma Indriyam. The Jnana Indriyam is Tvak, Granam, Rasana, Chakshush, Shrotra. Tvak, the skin. Touch, the sense of touch. Granam, smell, the nose. Rasana, taste, the tongue. Chakshush, sight, the eyes. Srotram, listening, ear. So these 5 Jnanendriyams means the sense organ, not the physical sense organ, the subtle. The 5 Karmendriyam, Vak, Pani, Padam, Payu, Upastam. Vak, the Dravyam that is present in the 8 different places. the dravyam, hridayam, throat, back of the tongue, jaws, teeth, lips, nose, head. These are all vak. The karmendriyam of pani is the finger, hand. Padam, feet. Payu, rectum. Upastam, which is the manhood or the womanhood, is present subtly at the signs of men and women. So these 10 indriyams, karmendriyam and jnanendriyam, join with the pranavayu. That pranavayu gets merged thereafter with the jivan. The jivatma in turn join the subtle part of the panchabhutams. All these efforts make the jivan very tired and exhausted. At that time, my Lord, you embrace the jivan, hug the jivan to remove the strain arising from those strenuous efforts. You are the one, the most merciful one, who exits the jivatma from the erstwhile home of that shariram, physical shariram. This embrace of the jivan by you at the time of death is common to both papis and punyasali, everyone. Regardless, this procedure where you take an active role is common for devas, including Yama, at the time of their jivan exiting their body. This process is managed by you as the antaryami, indweller of all jivatma. You enter into them and command the process of exiting of the jiva from their body in a controlled manner. So, Swami Desikan focuses on the happenings at the time of the shaking of the mortal coil by the jivatma during their last moments of life. This is called Utkramanam. Mukunda sadharana Utkramana karma bhutaiva, Swami says. The steps of exiting the jivan from the body are common to all and is managed by you alone. Swami Desikan gives thus a clear step-by-step description. The 10 indriyas join with manas at the time of the exit of the jivan from the body, that housed it at the command of the Paramatma, who dwells inside the jivan, vag adhikam manasi sameti. That manas, incorporating all the 10 indriyams, unites next with the pranavayu, tat pavane sameti. The pranavayu now takes the next step at the command of the Lord and unites with the jivan. The jivan, incorporating pranavayu, joins the subtle aspect of the panchabhutam: akasha, vayu, agni, up, prithvi. The space, air, fire, jalam, water, and earth. Sab pavanaha jive sameti. Ayam jivaha bhuteshu punas sameti. That jivan joins with you. Asautai tvayi sameti. Swami Desikan gives here clear step by step of the Utkramana karma, the ascension of the jivatma, getting out of the body for all jivatmas at the time of Deha Vyoga, bodily dissolution. Swami Desikan acknowledges and salutes the Deepa Prakasha Mukundan for the duty that he performs with so mercifully with Paramadaya to exit the jivan from the body that it had before the death occurs. From the body, from its body, how it comes out. It embraces and gets the jivan rid of its exhaustion. Adiyan. Acharyan Trivadikale Sharanam. Kavitarkika Simhaya Kalyana Gunashaline Srimate Venkateshaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha.